You know that feeling when you're reading an article or watching a video and you just completely lose track of time? Well, that's not magic. It's actually your brain running this incredible high-speed analysis that happens totally behind the scenes. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see what's really going on inside our heads when we absorb information.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're scrolling, and then, bam! One headline, one image just stops you in your tracks. Why that one? What's the deal? Well, the answer is hiding deep inside our own minds, and figuring it out is the key to becoming a much smarter, way more efficient learner.
All right, let's get into it. First, we'll look at that initial mystery of attraction. What makes you pay attention? Then, we're going to see what the brain is actually doing with all that information. We'll compare reading versus watching stuff, and then we'll uncover the secret to making knowledge really stick, and wrap it all up with some tips you can start using today. So what is going on in that split second when you get hooked? It's way more than just random curiosity. Honestly, understanding this is like getting a user manual for your own brain. It helps you cut through all the noise, learn way faster, and really sharpen your focus in a world that is always fighting for your attention. And that hook is all about how your brain processes information. You know, it's not like you're just a sponge passively soaking things up. No way! When you read a line of text or watch a scene, your brain is firing on all cylinders, running this incredibly complex operation to make sense of it all in milliseconds. Okay, so this whole lightning-fast process really boils down to 3 key steps. First up is perception. That's just your eyes and ears sending a flood of raw data upstairs. Then comes initial processing, where your brain starts sorting through everything. What are the colors, the shapes, the emotions here? And finally, the most important part, focus. This is where your brain becomes this brilliant bouncer, deciding what gets in and what's just noise. And that second step, the processing part, is so fascinating. Just think about seeing a really funny video clip. The emotional part of your brain lights up immediately. You feel the humor before your logical brain has even had a chance to figure out the punchline. Yeah. Emotion almost always gets a head start.
So now that we have a handle on that basic process, let's compare the 2 main ways we get our information. It turns out that reading a book and watching a video are 2 completely different workouts for your brain. They send it down 2 very different paths.
And this slide really nails the trade-off, doesn't it? Think of reading as a full-on gym session for your brain. It takes more effort, it gets your logic and imagination centers pumping, and that usually builds much stronger memory. Viewing, on the other hand, is kind of like an express train. The information gets there fast and easy, but unless it's super engaging with great visuals and sound, that info might just fly right out the other side.
Okay, so whether you're reading or watching, just getting the information into your brain is really only half the battle. The real trick, the secret sauce, is making it stay there. And it turns out there are a few key ingredients to making knowledge permanent.
So here's the deal. Your memory isn't like a filing cabinet. It's more like a giant interconnected web. And these are the 3 things that make those connections super strong. First, an emotional hook. If something makes you laugh or gasp or feel something, it acts like an anchor. Second, connecting new info to stuff you already know gives it a home. And finally, active engagement. Actually doing something with the information, like writing it down or explaining it to a friend, that forces your brain to really wrestle with it.
I mean, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? Emotion isn't some distraction that gets in the way of learning. It's one of the most powerful tools for learning. When you pair information with a feeling, that information is pretty much guaranteed to stick around.
All right, so we've peeked behind the curtain. We've learned the secrets of how our brain works. Now for the fun part. Let's put it all to use. Let's look at some super practical things you can do to really unlock your brain's full learning power.
These 4 hacks are so simple, but they are incredibly effective. First, just get rid of distractions. Give your brain a clean slate to work with. Second, scan for the main ideas first. Give yourself a mental roadmap before you dive in. Third, use smart repetition. Don't just cram, review things after a little break. It works wonders. And finally, make it personal. Connect whatever you're learning to your own life. That makes it meaningful, and trust me, that makes it memorable.
So there you have it. The secret code to how your brain learns. But of course, knowing this stuff is one thing. Using it is where the real power is. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know how your brain is actually wired, what are you going to change about the way you learn, watch, and engage with the world?